Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is OPTIBOTIMUS coming at you with another video review. And for over 10 years, since the creation of the Transformers Masterpiece line from Takara Tomy, this is the one that I've been waiting to do. Today we will be taking a look at Transformers Masterpiece 20 Wheeljack. And as you can see, an officially licensed product all the way around. You got all the cool decals on here showing off that he is a Lancia Stratos Turbo, which is a Italian rally car from way back in the day. And primarily that's where it gets the color from. A lot of people may not necessarily know that. I don't know. Somebody actually messaged me and wasn't aware of who this was, and it's amazing to me. But for the packaging, you got the Lancia logo right there. You got a real cool image of the Wheeljack as he looked in the real life version of the Lancia, which kind of honestly throws me off. I'll be totally honest. As much as I love this character and I love the figure, this is not the look that I was really hoping for, but we'll touch on that here in a little bit. But you got the car, you got the robot, you got the very nice masterpiece package here. You come around probably telling you that you can't swallow small pieces, things like that. You got the vehicle mode there. On this side, you got a nice image of his robot mode. You got the Transformers Masterpiece logo up there. The box is the exact same size as a lot of the car Autobots that we've gotten previously, so it's nothing too different. You come around here to the back, you do see the interaction between MP-10 Optimus and him in robot mode, vehicle mode, and that Wheeljack does fit in the trailer here. You also see the regular accessories that come with him, such as, well, obviously Wheeljack, his gun, his missile launcher card, instructions. It's times like this that I wish I could read this, because this is his bio, I would anticipate, or this is his bio or something, but I wish I could read that. That would be really fun, especially since it's, well, Wheeljack. But packaging wise, it is basically the exact same. You can see down here you do have the official product from Lancia down there. So packaging, though, this is what we're kind of used to with these smaller car vehicles, so it's really nothing all that different. So without further ado, let's get this guy open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Wheeljack opened up and out of its packaging. Now starting off first, we're going to set him off to the back. Much like all the Masterpiece figures, he does come with a collector card. It's a little bit thinner than, I guess, what some people are used to. It really doesn't have much of a thickness beyond the thickness of, say, its instructions, which is kind of unfortunate, but very similar to everything that we've gotten before. It says just Transformers Masterpiece. You got MP-20 there. It says that he's a Cybertron mechanical engineer. You come around here to the back, you got what is probably his bio and then his technical data, which again, I wish I could read that because I'd love to see what they say, and I'd love to see what his actual tech specs are. One would assume that 10 is his intelligence, but it could also be one of these 9s, who knows. But you do have that. His instructions are fairly straightforward. They are, again, pretty much the same. These new ones just have a lot of extra detail in here that I really appreciate. I mean, you got a nice image up here. You got probably the history of it. I mean, you can see that this is his Lancia Stratos Turbo vehicle mode, so they might have a history here of his vehicle mode, and then you got his robot mode. You got some images down here, which it's neat. It even actually gives his car specs, and then yeah, there you can actually see that this is his technical data. So when you compare that to the card, his skill is the 10, his intelligence is a 9, so that's what that probably comes from. So that's actually kind of cool that they put that in there. I do appreciate that. And then you have, for example, his shoulder cannon, an image of him in the cartoon, another image of him in the cartoon with his laser gun, how they attach to him in both vehicle and robot mode. Then on the opposite side, just regular instructions. But again, you don't need those instructions because you're here, you're watching me. So bringing this back in. Now, those are the accessories that you get just standard. If you order this through some online retailers, I know Big Bad Toy Store, even Kapow Toys, a lot of them offer the ability to get the special, I think it's the Amazon Japan exclusive, which includes the collector coin. If you don't want that, you save a little money and you can get the just standard version, but the collector coin is actually really nice. So you can see a nice Autobot logo there in the background. I hit it, and it's kind of done up to, I guess, look like the hood, I suppose. And then you just slide it open. You got Masterpiece MP-20 Wheeljack with a nice coin here with this face on there. It has a little plastic thing in there, so it holds it in there nicely. And then on the back, you got the nice Autobot logo. I have a bunch of these. I like collecting them, but honestly, I don't know why. It's just more of the completionist sort of thing than anything else, but you do get that. And then you also get an additional accessory. This is his anti-hypnosis device. Now, this was introduced along with Dr. Arkerville, the Hypno Chip, and Autobots having the ability to surf. Yeah, don't ask me. I don't know. But in that episode, Dr. Arkerville created the Hypno Chip, which they went on the back of humans' ears. Sparkplug actually had it on them and turned against the Autobots and even his son Spike. So what Wheeljack did was took him, Spike, a couple of the Autobots, I think Bumblebee was there, I want to say Brawn was there, and they all went back to Cybertron where his lab was, and they developed this anti-hypnosis device, which counteracted the actual Hypno Chip and allowed those humans to basically be normal. So you do get that, and I really like it. We'll touch on this here in a little bit, though, but you have the instructions in there as well. Now, he also does come with his shoulder cannon. It comes in 2 pieces. Very nice silver paint on here. It isn't spring-loaded or anything of that nature, but you can put it in there, and you can have him shoot out. It is a fairly tight fit in there, so rubbing this in and out could wear that silver. That's one thing that I don't particularly like, but you can tuck that in there. You can angle this a little bit. That's more beneficial in his robot mode, but you do have a little section right here. It's kind of actually hard to see, but right there, there's a little spring section that you can take this, you can peg that in there just like that, and I mean, you can angle it up and down like that, and you can drive around like that. I don't know why you would want to. He also does have his handgun, which it's really interesting because all the other car Autobots have come with basically rifles. This is a handgun, which is really cool. But it just tabs under there and actually looks really nice as just an exhaust pipe. I really dig that. I guess you could kind of call these accessories, but you do get 2 of these, well, technically 4 of them. They are separate in a little baggie, and they're attached by a little sprue. You kind of wiggle them off, and then you take them off, and then you add them on here. As you can see, you can continue to remove them if you want to. They don't fall out or anything like that, and like I said, you get 2 pairs of these, so you do get an extra set in case you do lose them, but I don't know if people would want to glue you. You got a very small little hole right there that if you put some glue in there, it might make the glue pop out and kind of get out along the side. That probably would stink. This is in there really nice and tight. This one's a little bit more loose, but like I said, you do get the extra ones just in case, but that just completes the look for the vehicle mode, and it is an absolutely gorgeous looking vehicle mode. I don't particularly like the paint scheme, to be totally honest with you. Wheeljack has always been my favorite character. Ever since I was a kid growing up, Wheeljack from Transformers, Donatello from Ninja Turtles, Egon from the real Ghostbusters, anyone that was basically the nerdy scientist type, that was what I automatically gravitated towards. So Wheeljack has always been my absolute favorite, and growing up with Transformers, he's the one that I really loved. This color scheme is more designed, though, to look like the real life car that this was basically based off of. It does a fantastic job of homaging that real life car. No question about it. You got the Lancia Alitalia right here. I mean, you have all that. You got the 539. That's just something that's always been there. You got the actual red rims, which I think is terrific. I don't think the actual car had an Autobot logo on there, but I digress. But it does look exactly like that real life car, even to the paint coming back here where I guess the rear windshield would kind of be. But this is what the Stratos look like, and while it does a great job, it's not what I particularly want. It even deviates from how the original G1 toy looked. It throws back to it. There's a lot of similarities, especially with the green and the red, which is an homage to that Italian heritage that the Lancia really is. And I dig it. Don't get me wrong. It looks great. It has a similar look in terms of the G1 toy. But for me, I want this to look like the cartoon, and it doesn't really have that same look. So I am really very hopeful that at some point in time Hasbro will release this. Of all the Masterpiece figures that I have, this is the one that I will have no problem buying a Hasbro version of and actually keeping. Every other Masterpiece figure that I have in my actual display is in fact the Takara version. This will be the first one that will be a Hasbro one if they release it. I don't know if they will. I do know Repro Labels has no problem with doing something for this to make it more cartoon accurate, but but it's a great looking vehicle. The mold is phenomenal. It nails it spot on. I guess the only thing that I might change is I kind of would like it if maybe the actual windshield was a little bit smaller, not quite as wide as it is. And the other reason why I say that is because vehicle mode looks great. When you get him into his robot mode though, it kind of looks a little bit too big on his body. But again, that's just me going to that cartoon look. It is a great looking vehicle though. So setting him back here for some comparisons. First, here we have him next to Prowl. And again, you can see a very nice scale here. These work very nicely. I don't know why they decided to put the mirrors on Prowl here, and these are a little bit softer, it feels like. These have a little bit more rigid of a plasticness, but I don't know why they wanted to actually put those on there. It's kind of weird, but there's that. And here we have them next to Sideswipe. And again, all of these guys just scale so absolutely beautifully together. I mean, it really is a terrific scale that they're working with now. I don't want to say that it's 100% perfect, but I'm perfectly fine with it. Now to transform it, first what you want to do, obviously if you have this thing plugged in, you want to remove that. Come around here to the bottom also, you can remove this as well. Now the instructions show you one way. I'm going to show you a different way. Most of the time I try showing you the easiest way for me to transform these guys, so that's what I'm going to do here as well. So you basically want to come down here, detach this from the side, just kind of push down here and loosen this whole thing up. You can separate that if you want, but you're going to do that. Then you can split these legs. Give that a nice little push. Well, you gotta separate this, kind of push this down. There we go. And you're gonna separate this top windshield section here. So pull that, there we go. Because as you can see, this section here actually tabs underneath. So wiggle that, pull that out just like that. Then take this whole section here and you're going to rotate this around. There we go. Pull this out like that and just kind of swivel everything all the way down and into place. Take these legs here, then pull them all the way. You want to make sure that you fully extend them. It's kind of one of those things where it's like you pull it out here and then make sure you get that last click. Do that on this side as well. Pull it all the way out. Usually when you pull it out, you get it all the way extended, but one little click right there is all you need. Then come down here to the feet. You're going to angle these. Just completely pull these out just like that. And then they angle back at a joint right here, but you got to make sure that you get that all the way extended so that you can have the bottom section be completely flat. Then this piece right here, actually, pull this up, bring this up over here, and you got a little tab here. This rotates around, and then we'll peg underneath just like so. It fills in the bottom part of the foot. Do that on this side as well. Fold this. You're going to rotate this around. Make sure you straighten that all the way out. Now, come on, there we go. Just like so. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get it all the way extended, but there we go. Lock that into place like so. Then these side panels here, they're going to swivel, kind of pull these away, and then rotate them back and around like so. And then when you bring this around, this section here, you'll kind of tuck right there. This piece right here has a little round section on the inside that this little tab is going to go into, so bring that around, give that a nice little push, lock that into place, and you have that leg done. Do that on this side as well. Kind of wiggle this from the side, bring this down and around. This rotates out, bring that down just like that. Oh well, or maybe it's a, no, we'll leave it like that. Oh no, all right, rotate that. That's where it's supposed to be. And then bring this down, lock that into the side. And here you have his legs nice and done. And one thing I will say is that looking at these legs, I really do get, and I'll bring this in later on, I get a strong sense of how the old Transformers generation, I think it was, version of Wheeljack Transformers, or in terms of how his legs look, because the legs look very similar. But there you have his legs. Coming up to the top part here, you just kind of angle this back. You're going to open this section here, open that up. Push his head through the bottom, bring that all the way around, and then you can close this, lock that back in, and you can see his head. Then this section here, this little bit It's going to loosen up. This part is on a spring here, so you just kind of hold that up, honestly, and then rotate this out. Rotate this out like so. Bring that all the way around. Well, when you do that, take these little arrow or his wings in the back, kind of get that out of the way. You're going to lift these up. Just fold them over just like so. Just helps clean things up. Bring these down around the back. Then this is going to swivel all the way up and underneath. Then you're going to see a little section to take this. You just tuck this in on the inside like that. Bring this around. Make sure that you get these underneath. There's a little, get these arms out of the way. You got a little slot thing right on the inside here. It actually doesn't slot into here, but you can see that you got a little groove bit right there. You want to make sure that you get that on the outside. So just bring that all the way in, lift these pieces up along his back, bring these pieces around. These are going to rotate, straighten that up like so. Bring this up, kind of bring this chest piece down. Then this has a peg that slots into the back section right here. Pushing that all the way in, locks that. And you can just make sure that the top section here, this also does peg down. Just make sure you give that a nice little push. Like I said, you got the little spring thing right there. So that kind of springs that up and keeps it up like so. Bring that around, bring these arms around, and then basically what you're doing is just folding these out. Take this section here, rotate that around like so. Take this, spin this around, rotate them at the upper part of the bicep, and then you can rotate his wrist around. Do that on this side as well. So you're going to rotate this that way, rotate that up, angle this back, bring this down and around, and then rotate his wrist all the way around. And here we have Wheeljack through a rather fun and involved transformation, finally displayed in his extremely cool looking robot mode. And to complete the look, you also have his shoulder cannon, which when you look at the top here, you got two pegs, but I mean, it needs to go here. It doesn't belong anywhere else other than that right shoulder. And this guy is looking really very cool. I am again absolutely amazed with the amount of design work and engineering that Takara has put into this to make a really very cool looking car mode, that being the Lancia Stratos, and making it transform into a absolutely wonderful representation of Wheeljack from the original G1 cartoon. This guy looks really very, very impressive. Everything comes together, and I've said this before, I don't remember exactly what video it was, but this really is the figure that I've wanted ever since I was a kid. When I played with Wheeljack as a child, this is how I always imagined him being in my mind. And now to finally have it in hand, I don't have words. I really don't have words. The only thing that, like I said, I don't like, again, would be his colors. The legs, it doesn't bother me all that much, but the chest, it just doesn't have that same chest coloring that I would really like in terms of how he looked in the cartoon. Also, I would probably prefer, instead of these, like his thighs and his arms and his hand being black, I would prefer them being gray. But that's all stuff that, again, hopefully is something that Hasbro will fix if they ever choose to release this guy. It's not bad, don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely thrilled to have it. There's no way on this planet that I was not gonna get this figure. But if I'm being totally honest, that's what I would want in my Wheeljack. Now, for the rest of his accessories, like you could see, he does have the shoulder cannon. He comes with his handgun that all the hands just open up much like, or his hands open up much like all the other car Autobots. You got the molded thumb, and then you got the hand that are all molded like this. Then you got the little tab that you just wedge his hand. It's kind of hard to see, actually. You just wedge this in, get that all the way in there, and now he's got his laser pistol, which I like. I think that's really very cool. And also, like I said, if you do get that Amazon Japan exclusive, you do get the anti-hypnosis device, which has this really nice metallic bluish kind of paint on there. No other real details. I mean, you got the front right there. You got this big hole in the back. I don't know what you would use that for, but really it's a nice piece regardless. And now, as simple as this is, you just open his hand, you put it in there, and now it looks like he's just carrying a toolbox, which, I mean, even if that is the case, it's still Wheeljack, so I wouldn't care if he was just walking around carrying a toolbox. For me, that's perfectly fine. I don't really care. Now, that's a little bit harder to get out on the hand there. Again, I guess you could say another minor thing that I would like. I was talking about the chest and the windshield. This is where you're seeing that it looks pretty big in the actual... Did that come loose? No, that's okay. The front windshield thing looks a little bit bigger than I probably would like it to be. It's not bad, but that was just one thing that I noticed. Now he does have it's a very smoky grayish kind of translucent plastic here for his wings. It's harder to see, but I mean you can still make them out there, right? Yeah, okay, you can see them. They just kind of blend in with my lights. I mean, it looks pretty good. He does have his this bit right here. It does look like his chest sort of sticks up a little bit higher, so it's not completely flush. That's not too bad, I don't think either, but at this point in time, I'm just being nitpicky. Yes, people have shown that you can take his mouth plate off and it reveals a mustached face. I'm not going to go as far as saying that that's a throwback or an homage to Transformers animated Wheeljack, because I really don't think it is. I just think that it's something that they did. I'm not reading too much into it, but it does have that. He doesn't have any light piping. That would have been kind of neat. One very quintessential characteristic of Wheeljack was when he talked, his little bits here on the side actually lit up. And I guess I would have liked it maybe a little bit more if like this translucent plastic was also used there, but I think that the silver on there looks nice. He's got very nice blue painted eyes, which really does look good. For his articulation, the head will rotate left and right. It also will pivot up and down, so you can actually get him looking like he's flying. And one of the things that has always been very accurate is Wheeljack is one of the Autobots that has always been described as being able to fly. So I guess that's kind of cool that you can maybe actually recreate that. So you do have that articulation. The shoulders here move forward, back, they move all the way around. This bit here obviously will get in the way, which you can't see, but that bit right there, they move in and out. Very tight joints here. I really like seeing that. There's some good stiffness in there that really says to me that that joint's going to last for a long time. It rotates at the upper part of the elbow. He's got one joint here at the elbow itself. Then you can rotate it here at the wrist. Like I said, the actual hands, they're articulated just at the primary knuckle joint right there. He does rotate at the waist as well, moves forward and back at the hips, in, out. He does rotate at the very upper section of the hips, bends here at the knee at one point. He does pivot inward at his ankles, and then you can get him moving forward and back as well. So a lot of posability in this guy, and he's just it's so crazy. I even love how they actually have the part here that covers over the back of his hand. In the actual cartoon model, he had that as well. I think it was just gray. It matched the color here. I don't know how they could actually do that with this, but I like that that's actually included. Now, for some fun, we're going to do some comparisons. So, setting him there, and courtesy of ToyStages.com, here we have Wheeljack, along with Optimus Prime and Blue Streak, standing in front of Teletran 1. And as you can see, I mean, size-wise, again, the scale just works very nicely. Optimus really should be bigger, and Wheeljack should be the same size as the rest of the cars. So scale-wise, this is outstanding. And because he's partially responsible for the big guy, here he is next to Masterpiece Grimlock. And again, courtesy of ToyStages.com, outside of the Autobot arc. But yeah, really, the only thing that I would change if I had the ability to do so would be the paint. It's just the extra red and the green just throws me off. It's something that I don't particularly like. Just as I said, because I like that cartoon look. The black I could probably get away with, but I would really like it if the chest looked a little bit more accurate in terms of the cartoon. And honestly, here in robot mode, you lose a lot of those weird colors, like this color right here. He obviously didn't have that in that cartoon model, so that would go away. But I mean, everything else on here is really very, very cool. I'm really very impressed with this. Now, to transform him back, just straighten out his head. We're going to take his shoulder cannon off. We're going to start down here with the legs, get these arms out of the way, and all you basically do is take everything apart. So, come around here to this back section. You're going to pull this away just like that. And this is going to rotate around, and you're going to bring this up along the side and tuck that over. It's kind of, you kind of have to lift and pull to get it to go over there. So that's one thing. Maybe all that pulling wouldn't be good over time, but right now it's perfectly fine with me. So you're lifting and pulling and covering this side just like that. These little bits right here, we're going to keep those tucked down just like so. This whole section here, straighten this out, and then you rotate this up. Straighten this, then rotate the bottom part of his foot up. This can be a little bit tricky to do. You sort of have to accordion it to get it to slide in. It's, like I said, a little bit tricky, but just work with it, and as you can see, you'll get in there eventually. So again, kind of wiggle, pain in the butt, but like I said, it eventually gets in there. So there you have that. We're just going to leave those just like that for right now. Then we're going to come around to the arms. We're going to rotate the hand all the way around. Do that on this side as well. Or, well, here, put that around just like that. Going to rotate this, going to bring this around, and then this whole section, you want to fold this forward. When you move it back, there's two different sections. The actual instructions tell you to first rotate this back and then rotate this back. But really, when you're transforming into his robot mode, you can just move it all at one time. But when you go back, they're not connected. So you have to slide both of those forward just like that. And then come around here to this side, rotate here at the upper part of the elbow, rotate this to the side like so, and then fold this in just like that, and then fold this section in, and that's actually fairly tight to do. And then we're just going to leave these dangling for right now. Then move this back, this whole section right here, you want to detach this, actually this bit right here that pegs in, you want to do that. Make sure that you untab this section, and then this section here will swivel forward, just kind of get this out of the way. Take this chest, open this up just like that. Take the head, tuck that down, bring that and close that up just like so. These wings here, you're going to rotate these around, and I'll get this out of the way, and then they tuck underneath. You have to lift this a little bit and tuck this under there. Make sure you push that all the way down like so. So do that on this side. Or you can just swivel it. You can just do that if you want to. Rotate this. You're going to bring these up. Get this kind of out of the way like that. Then bring this all the way up. Yeah, well, oops. When you do this, bring these arms down. I forgot to do that. So bring this up, line that up there, and then you want to lift this and bring these in just like that. Real easy. Then you gotta fiddle with this. Bring these two halves together, plug them in, make sure everything else is lined up as you're doing it. Then this section here, the top section, comes down, locks everything together nicely. And then make sure you get this, actually I didn't have that lined up, part of the spoiler section. Make sure you get that nice and lined up. So then bring this up, this whole section here, you got these two little rounds or peg sections that these pegs actually go into. So you bring that up, lock that in. It'll actually click into place. You can push it in, and you can see that it doesn't push it all the way, but when you give it a nice little push, it locks it. Just like so. Take this section here, and this is actually neat. This little whole section right here has little slots that tab up here, locking those together. Just like that. This whole section, you accordion this back and then swivel and swivel, bring this up in here like so. Take the legs, collapse them down on both sides, putting everything together, squeeze that, tab the front section here down into the legs. These bits right here slot up along the side, locking those into position, squeeze everything together, and here you have Wheeljack back in his vehicle mode. Now, as I said, Wheeljack has always been my character. Growing up, there was never an Autobot that I identified with more than him. So getting this guy in hand really has been one of those kind of surreal moments, I guess. The Masterpiece line has done a terrific job of making those characters come to life in terms of accurate looking toys. And Wheeljack really does do that. Despite the fact that the coloring on it is a little bit off for me, that is something that I really do think can be fixed at some point in time. Whether it be through an official Hasbro release or something like repro labels, the bottom line is the mold is here, and it is absolutely incredible. Vehicle mode, I mean, as you can see, is an absolute wonderful representation of that Lancia Stratos. Everything on it just really does look absolutely incredible. I can't get over how cool this guy really does look. It's so strange to have it in hand finally. The transformation is exactly what you would come to expect from a Masterpiece. It's intricate, it's involved, and bottom line, it's fun to do. And the fact that you're able to go from such an accurate looking vehicle mode to such an accurate looking robot mode really, really impresses me. And I absolutely have to tip my cap to the folks that are responsible for this engineering. And then when we get to the robot mode, that just is the icing on the cake. I'm sitting here and I have a huge smile on my face as I'm recording this because it's Wheeljack. It's it's G1 Wheeljack, and that G1 Wheeljack toy, I'll even admit, is an absolutely terrible toy. This, though, is just wow. For finally giving a grown man's inner child a Wheeljack from G1, all I can do is say thank you, Takara. You guys have done an incredible job with this. Now, if you are interested in picking this guy up, he is available right now at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Big Bad Toy Store where you can pick this guy up and you can add him to your collection today. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been OPTIBOTIMUS. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/OPTIBOTIMUS. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at OPTIBOTIMUSreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own OPTIBOTIMUS t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.